his, like, I started twitching and he was like, y'all not going nowhere.
I'm on what you want, so bet it up. Little hoe thinking I'm scared of her. Not with the drama that's dead as fuck, but don't make me get out of character. I am my only competitor, so don't worry about having to step it up. You niggas think you can measure up. Don't make me get out of character. Look.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Jazz with an X, and I am here today with my very first YouTube video. So if you could do me a huge favor and like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. For those of you who don't know me, I am an artist. I make music, I rap, I sing. I'm primarily a rapper though, but an artist altogether. We can get into me and who I am along the line. I'm sure you guys will get to know me. But what
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
So I have a story for you guys, a crazy ass story about the time me and my friends were almost kidnapped in Panama City Beach.
Bitch, I know you fucking lying.
Like, I cannot make this up. All right, so my freshman year of college, I didn't plan anything for spring break. You know, in high school, spring break, we go to like the beach or something. I live on the coast, so the beach is up the street. So I didn't plan anything for spring break. I never thought about going out of town. So I had a couple of friends who were like, we should do something for spring break. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to like Carowinds or something. I don't know. So they're like, nah, we're gonna go, let's go out of town, let's plan a trip. So we get online and we start looking up all these places to go and things to do, and we see that Panama City Beach is apparently like a lit spring break area for college students to go, especially when you're under the age of 21. And at the time I was 18, so it was like, okay, definitely. So me and two of my friends, let's call them Myra and Karan. Okay, so me, Myra, and Karan, we decided we're gonna up and go to Panama City Beach for spring break. So we're in this college group chat. So we hit the group chat. We're like, is anybody, going to do anything for spring break? We're trying to plan a trip to Panama. We could use a few extra girls, obviously, so things won't be as expensive. You split the cost with more girls, etc., etc. So one girl hits us up and she's like, me and my friend, we were looking to go to Panama. So we were like, all right, cool. To be honest, I don't particularly remember either one of their names. Anyways, book a hotel for like 3 or 4 nights, pack up the car, and we drive to Florida. We get to Panama City Beach. We've gotten settled into our hotel at this point. Okay, so how I'm going to tell this story, I'm going to give you a lot of, I guess you would say, like, a lot of little things that don't seem important, but I promise they all connect in the end. And also, the way that you're receiving this information, you're getting it the way I'm telling the story, but you have to think, like, from our perspective, we're 18-year-old college kids, like, in Panama City Beach. We're not thinking the way that you would be thinking hearing this story. Our hotel was on the beach, so like we could stand on the balcony and look at the beach. So the first night there, they were like a couple of guys and girls under the balcony, and they were like, yo, like, what do you guys get into tonight? We gotta turn up. And we were like, nah, like, it's our first night, we're chilling, but maybe we'll get in, maybe we'll meet up with you tomorrow or whatever. We were tired. The next day, we get up, we go out, and what happened?
2 hours later.
One of these days, we're on the trip. I don't remember specifically which day it was. It doesn't really matter. We walk out of the hotel, and there is a guy. He's like standing like, so at the entry, there are like these 2 podiums almost, and he's like sitting on the edge of the bricks, and he's just sitting there. And so we walk by, he stops me, and he's like, hey, like, what are y'all getting into? And I'm like, I don't really know. I don't think we have any real plans. We're just gonna kind of walk the strip and see what's going on. And he was like, say his name was Robert. He's like, my name is Robert, and we're having a hotel party tonight at my hotel, so y'all should definitely come through. Let me put my number in your phone. And I'm like, cool. So he gives me his number, and we're like, oh yeah, that's definitely a move for tonight. So we have that conversation, and then we leave, and he also leaves. I don't know why he was sitting out there in the first place, but when we left, he left. Day goes on. We decided we were going to a club that night. So that night, we go to this club. Kid you not, they played the same Young Dolph song like 8 times. I'm not even kidding. Now we're over it. So we're like, all right, we're gonna head out. So we leave and we had to go get gas. So we went to the gas station. So we're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we don't wanna go to bed yet. We don't wanna go to the hotel. It's Panama, it's spring break. Like, we gotta find something to do. So of course, we're like, let's text that guy we met earlier. So I'm like, yeah, I got his number. So I pull up my phone and I text him or whatever. And I'm like, hey, is the party still going on? So he calls me. So I answer the phone and he's like, yo, bruh, what? And I'm not, nothing's coherent. Like, I'm not understanding. But the music is really loud and he just sounds really drunk. So I'm like, dang, they must be lit because y'all hear this man. Now, that was Robert I was speaking to. So somebody takes the phone from him. Let's say this guy is Kenneth. So Kenneth takes the phone from Robert. He's like, yo, Robbie drunk. So, y'all just pull up. It's lit. I'm about to text you the address. So we like, bet. So he texts me the address. Their hotel was literally 2 hotels down from our hotel. So we were like, bet, we can just park the car and walk. If that's the case, nobody's got to drive. So we go back to our hotel, change clothes, and so we head down the street to the hotel. So while we were down there in Panama, we had tried to go to a few other hotel parties, but a lot of the hotels were super strict. Like, it was like you had to have like a wristband to get into the hotel. They had to know that you were a guest there, and each person could only have like 1 extra guest. It was like that, I guess, to minimize hotel parties because they knew it was spring break, which is understandable. So when we got to this hotel, we walked through the front door, and it was kind of like a basement almost, and there was a front desk, but no, we walked in there with elevators. The first thing were elevators. So we get on the elevators and we go up to like the lobby, and but there was no person. Like, there was a front desk, but there was no person at the front desk. And so we just kind of walked around the lobby floor. There was a pool, there was a gym, but there were no people. Like, we didn't run into any people. So we were like, dang, like, this hotel kind of empty. It did look like a higher end hotel, so we just kind of assumed maybe it was too expensive for people our age during spring break. You know, so we were like, well, at least we ain't gotta, get wristbands checked or whatever. So we're not tripping. So we head up the elevator to like 23rd floor, and it's one of those hotels where your room is on the balcony. So it's like there's no hallway or anything like that. Like, it's like a balcony, and the door is on the balcony. So it's the very, very last door on this balcony. So we get all the way down to the door, and we're kind of standing there, and I'm listening. I don't even have any music playing. And so Karan was like, just knock. So I knocked, and nobody answered the door. So we just kind of awkwardly stood there for a second, like, should we leave? Should we stay? And we were like, all right, Myra was like, I think we should just leave. So we're about to leave at this point. So we're starting to walk back down the balcony when Robert and Kenneth come around the corner. And they were like, oh, there y'all are. And we were like, yeah, like, where's the party? What's going on? Now, I remember I told you that Robert, when we were on the phone, Robert was like drunk. So when he's coming down the balcony, he's like swaying. Like, if he falls over the balcony, like, he's gonna die. It's 23rd floor. He's gonna die. So we're like, Kenneth, get your mans. Like, he's obviously drunk. So he's staggering, and he's like, bro, the party's so lit, blah, blah, blah. And we like, where the hoes at? Like, where the music? I don't. But anyways, they like, oh, we about to turn up. So we walked back down to the door or whatever. And this Robert, now Robert was, I told y'all, like, he's like so drunk, falling all over the place drunk. He gets to this door. I kid y'all not, he puts in a 9-digit PIN code. And Kenneth was like, yo, bro, what's the code? Rob was like, I got it. Do, 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 do. Click. I'm like, dang, you know, drunk people, I just feel like if you were really that drunk, it would have been a little bit more difficult for you to pull that off, but whatever. What do I know? So we go inside. When we walked in, there was like 2 bedrooms over here, and we kept walking through, and it would take you through the kitchen, which had an island in the kitchen, and then into the living room. We got inside. There was another guy sitting at the island. Let's say his name Jeffrey. I don't know. So we walk inside. So me, we're just kind of checking out the condo at this point. Like, we're looking around, me and my 2 friends, and there's No, there's obviously no party. Like I said, there was the one guy sitting at the island, the two guys we came in with, and then there's us. So we're like, all right, obviously these guys just wanted to hang out, so they lied about a party. We'll kick it for a few minutes and we'll head out. So we're looking around the condo, whatever, and a bunch of things are kind of odd, but like I said, we were kids in Panama City Beach and we weren't thinking that deep. So the first thing was a little weird was the sliding glass door that went onto the balcony. It was like it had a wood panel in front of it, so you couldn't open the door.
Oh, hell no!
Like you couldn't slide the door open. Like the door wouldn't open. So that was a little odd. Then there was a window with a small table in front of it with a pair of binoculars on it. And my friend Karan, like she had picked them up and looked at it. She was like, "Oh, I love people watching it." Like she's looking out the window, and the window looks directly over our hotel. Now, like I said, y'all know you're gonna be like, red flag, red flag. Telling y'all we were not thinking like that. Like it was just like, okay, they people watch, you know. It just wasn't that serious. So we all get to we kind of all around the island in the kitchen. Everybody's chit chatting, and Robert was like, "Come sit on the couch with me, Jazz." So I'm like, all right. And Robert's cute. Let me throw that out there. Like he's like 6'3", light skin, curly hair. He's got on Gucci from head to toe. His Gucci slide. He got no socks on. I ain't like that. That's not. Don't be wearing slides with no socks out here, because that's not cute.
I don't like that.
Anyways, we sit on the couch and we're talking, and like I said, I do music. I'm a big music buff. So he asked me like, what do you like to do? And I was like, well, I like music. And he was like, yo, I like music too. Now mind y'all, again, bro was so drunk just a few minutes ago. He started spitting out albums, dates, things that went platinum. And I'm like, oh, you've sobered up, huh? And he was like, yeah, music made me sober up. I said, oh, okay, you know. Who am I to call you a big fat liar? Anyways, he starts to get a little touchy. I'm not a super, don't touch me. Just don't. Especially if you don't know me. So he's like touching my leg, and I'm like, all right, big dog, we're gonna nip this in the bud. So we get up and we go to the kitchen. I'm like, let's go in here with everybody else. So now we're all in the kitchen. So the way we're all positioned, it's like me, Robert standing behind me, my friend Myra's here, my friend Karan is across from me, there's Kenneth that we came in with, and then Jeffrey is at the end of the island. So we're all sitting around the island and we're all talking, chit-chatting. We start to notice like little things like, okay, we'd ask somebody their name and they'd kind of not answer the question and be like, what's your name? And we'd be like, oh, it's so-and-so. And then a little bit, 5 minutes later, we realized we still don't know your name. So we're like, so what's your name though? And then they kind of gave us names, but all the names they gave us, they didn't call each other those names. Like they would slip up and say one another's name, but it wouldn't be the name that they told us. So we were like, y'all are weird. So then we were talking about like where we were from, and we were telling them like we're from North Carolina or whatever. And they were like, oh, we're from Detroit. So we're like, oh, we wonder how far like North Carolina from Detroit is. They like pull out the GPS, like we were just trying to see how far their school from my school was, but they don't put in, like we put in the name of our school and they put in Detroit. Like that's literally what they put in the box, like Detroit. Wasn't a street name, wasn't a school name, it just was Detroit. And one of the guys sounded like he's from Alabama. Me and my homegirls is like, what part of Detroit y'all from? So then we asked, there was a purse on the counter. So we like asked like, whose purse is that? And two of them answered at the same time, and one said my aunt, one said my cousin. And we was like, well, and then it was like, so that, I was like, it's my aunt, but his cousin. And I was like, okay, like y'all want some, y'all just sound like y'all lie bad. Y'all sound like y'all think we some little hoochies, and we finna come up in here and it's not happening. Cancel Christmas on that one, baby. But so while we're sitting here talking, another guy walks in, and he's like has on a gray sweatsuit, and he doesn't like you. When you walk into a room and there are people there that you don't expect to be there, you kind of like, oh, like, hey, like, who are y'all? He walks in and he's like, well, hello, ladies. I'm like, all right. But he's weird. All of y'all is weird. Everybody's weird. And we just kind of like, hey, like, what's up? So again, we're just having casual conversation, and then one of the guys asks another guy, where's so and so at? They say another name, and Jeffrey goes, oh, he's still in the room. So they open the door that's off to the kitchen, and there's a guy in there, and he's on the bed. And so they like run in there and jump on him, and they're like rustling him up and stuff, and everybody's laughing. But he gets up, like he gets out of the bed, and he sees us, and he goes, oh, y'all about to make another movie. And they slam the door shut in his face. So now we like, oh, y'all really think this, y'all, what y'all think finna happen in here? A movie? So I'm not gonna lie, my stupid, y'all, when he said, oh, y'all finna make another movie, I was like, oh, the party must have been lit for real. We finna make another movie. And my friend Karan is looking at me like, that is not what they meant. I'm like, oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was still a virgin. I was so oblivious to all things sexual. I really was like, oh, it's finna get lit up here. Looking stupid. Anyways, we're still just kind of having this awkward, casual conversation, and it gets to the point where I could tell, like, I'm looking at Myra, Myra's looking at me, I'm looking at Karan and Myra looking at each other. We're all kind of like, all right, let's wrap this up and head out. I get a phone call from my friend, let's call him Reggie. And Reggie, it's oddly enough, we met in Panama City Beach. We met in Florida, but he went to the local college that was up the street from me. So we both were from the same place. So we had like exchanged numbers on some type, like, oh yeah, we can link while we all down here, and then we can all be cool when we go back. So he calls me. He's like, yo, like, where you at? Where y'all at? Y'all left the club? And we like, yeah, we left. And he's like, oh, well, we about to go to Waffle House if y'all want to come. So I'm like, hey, Reggie said him and the boys about to go to Waffle House. Y'all trying to go? And Karan and Myra are like, well, Myra doesn't really say anything because she's talking to Jeffrey. But Karan snaps her fingers and says, let's go. So me, I'm like, don't snap at me. And so she like starts hustling towards the door. She's like, let's go. And I'm like, okay, first of all, sis, it's Waffle House. I'm gonna need you to take it down a notch. Waffle House ain't going nowhere. I promise. I'm like, you just need to relax. Like, I'm coming. So Robert is still standing behind me, and he's like, he's busting out laughing. Like he runs into the room like weak. Him and the guy with the sweatsuit on, like they're dying laughing. I don't know what they're laughing at because I was on the phone. I didn't hear the conversation. So, but they're like, so I'm like, all right, y'all have a blessed night, okay? We're gonna head out. So Karan's already like almost to the door at this point. So I'm like, hold up, like, wait. So like, I'm telling Myra, like, Myra, let's go. And I don't know what she's doing, but because I'm still on the phone. You know, when you're on the phone, you're a little distracted. So I'm like, I'm still on the phone, and she's like doing something. I'm like, Myra, let's go. So I start walking towards the door. So when I get to the front door, there's the bedroom that's right off of the front door. The guy with the sweatsuit is on the floor, like rolling, like laughing. He's so very weak. So me being the kind and polite person I am, I say, hey, we're about to head out. Y'all, I kid y'all not. I'm still on the phone. He stands up and he like is still kind of half laughing. He's like, and I was like, well, have a good night. And bruh grabs my arm. Like, he literally grabs my arm, and y'all, I felt like I was in a movie. Like, I started twitching, and he was like, y'all not going nowhere. And so I'm like, hold up, Reggie, this is crazy. So I'm like, excuse me, can you let go of my arm? And he's really like holding onto my arm. And I'm like, so it's so much going on at one time because Karan is out the door saying, let's go. Myra is sitting in her way. I'm like, Myra, come on. And she's like, I'm trying. And he got my arm. And I'm like, bro, let me go. Reggie on the phone like, what's going on? And I'm like, at this point, I'm panicking because I don't understand. It's so much going on at one time. So I'm still trying to get my arm. So Myra comes running down the hallway and she bumps into us. So when she does that, I snatch my arm from him and like stumble backwards out the front door. And he's like, who are you on the phone with? And I'm like, I'm on the phone with Reggie, like, my boyfriend. And he's like, boyfriend? And so, like, at this point, like, I'm out of the door, and he's standing in the doorway, and I'm, like, walking down the hall, and Karan is gone. Sis said, y'all got me fucked up. Myra is, like, trotting down the hallway. So, the balcony. So, I'm going down the balcony at this point, and he comes out the door, and he's standing at the end of the balcony. Y'all, I kid y'all not, he looked like an action figure. Like, he was standing like this. He was like, give me a hug! Give me a hug! And I was like, this nigga crazy. So, I start hitting a little dash on him because I was scared, y'all. I was so scared. I thought I wanted to see my mama again. I know what's going on, y'all. I don't know. And at this point, they didn't even see when he grabbed my arm and was like, you ain't going nowhere. So I don't even understand what happened that's got them running the way they running. So now I'm even more panicked because I'm like, that just happened. Why are y'all running? So we get to the elevator and we're pressing the button and the button it's not working fast enough, bro. So I get to the elevator and Karan is like, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are we panicking? And she says, you didn't hear what he said? And I was like, no. She was like, the dude with the sweatsuit asked Robert something. And he said, they're not going to give it to us. We're going to have to take it. Y'all, when I tell y'all, all three of us was pressing different buttons, just trying to get any elevator to open. So we get in the elevator, we get out of the hotel, and we run back to our hotel. Like we hit Usain Bolt, and I'm not kidding y'all, like
I'm running for my life.
Get back to the hotel shook, like really in the hotel, like I can't believe this happened. What does that mean? What did he mean he was gonna have to take? And it's a lot of little pieces, like for instance, when I stopped by the room, like to tell him we were leaving, when he grabbed my arm, there were some girl clothes on the bed. Like, I mean, I don't know who they were. We just kind of initially assumed that it was somebody they had brought with them. Then when we thought back on it, though they were the same guys who were with the girls the first night we got there, who were under the balcony telling us to come hang out with them, but they weren't with those girls. So I don't know, beats me. And then the whole purse on the counter thing, all of this stuff kind of started to like click in our brains. Like the binoculars on the table, not being able to open the slide door, the line about the names, where they were from, like everything just kind of started to click. And we were like, we just almost got. But the story's not even over. So we go to our hotel, whatever. We end up going to bed that night because we were just like in shambles. So the next day, we're getting dressed and we walk out of the room and they're in the parking lot. Like, it's like 3 or 4 of them, like, but they're all spread out in the parking lot, just walking in between cars and stuff. So we like, oh nah, get right back in the crib. I ain't going nowhere. Not today gone. I ain't going nowhere. Think it's a game. I'm not playing. Everybody got me bit. I spent the rest of the trip in here. Cause I'm not going out there. And my homegirl's on the same note I was on. We ain't going out there. We just have to die in this hole. And that'll be that on that. But they eventually left or whatever. It was just so crazy. Then, the icing on the cake. We find out that the hotel they were staying in was under construction. Like, it wasn't even open. So all I'm gonna say is, y'all be safe out here in these streets. Because people are crazy. Like, nuts. Nuck and futz, I'm telling you. Other than that, we had a great time in Panama. You know, it was a blast for a spring break trip, etc., etc. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you're going to be a bit more careful next time you go out with your friends. Make sure you, check IDs. For the rest of the trip, we were checking IDs. Like, if we hung out with anybody, I need to see, what's your name? And I need to see your ID to make sure that's your name. And that's just that on that. And I'm not kidding. I'm Oh, you don't have an ID? Where's your birth certificate? I'm not playing no games. Because fool me once because I was stupid. You won't fool me twice. That's just that on that. Again, I hope y'all like the story. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of things you want me to do on my channel. I'll probably be telling some more stories. If you like this story, let me know. Y'all have a great night. Be safe. Don't do drugs, okay?